Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a really important look at the sources you've shared with us. They tell quite a story, actually, about understanding struggles that often stay hidden. Our goal here is to pull out the key insights, to help you get up to speed quickly. So let's start with a specific case the sources highlight. Jude. He's 16.
Same here.
And his life has been, well, incredibly tough. 4 foster homes, expelled from 2 schools. And you can imagine he's probably got that label, right? Troubled.
That's often the first impression, absolutely. When you see that pattern, it's easy to think, okay, this is a behavior problem, a bad attitude, like you said.
Right. Just defiance.
But the source material, it really digs deeper, and it gives us this crucial piece of information that just reframes everything. Jude actually has fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD.
FASD.
Yeah, it's a neurodevelopmental thing. It stems from alcohol exposure before he was even born. So this isn't about him choosing to act out. It's about his brain being injured, fundamentally impacted.
And that is, wow, that's the real aha moment,
Wow.
isn't it? Understanding that?
It is.
Because suddenly all those things that look like bad choices, the poor impulse control, maybe acting out.
Or the memory issues.
Right. Poor memory, maybe seeming like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Emotional outbursts.
Yeah.
You realize these aren't acts of defiance. They're symptoms, lifelong symptoms, stemming from how his brain developed.
Exactly. Lifelong neurodevelopmental damage.
And the source adds this really poignant detail. Jude actually wants to do better. He's trying.
That part is key. And, while Jude's story is very specific in this source, it's not unique. It really highlights a wider issue we see across the materials.
How so?
Well, the source itself says this is the reality for thousands of kids living with undiagnosed conditions like FASD, but maybe other things too. So it's much bigger than one case.
So our deep dive today, it's really about following where the sources lead us.
Right.
Moving past blaming.
Precisely. Moving beyond blame towards understanding, towards support. The source uses that phrase, break the cycle, not the child. And that really sums up the mission here.
Okay, so let's connect that back. When we look at Jude's past the expulsions, moving between homes, how does knowing it's FASD really change how we should interpret those events based on what the sources suggest?
Well, it completely reframes it. Instead of seeing, say, an expulsion as a failure of discipline or a behavioral choice.
Yeah, like he deserved it or something.
Right. You start to see it as a consequence of a mismatch, really. A mismatch between Jude's neurobiological reality and the expectations or supports available in that environment.
A mismatch.
Yeah, the sources strongly imply his challenges weren't about wanting to be difficult. They were about him trying to navigate the world with, effectively, an invisible brain injury. Understanding that is the absolutely critical first step.
That shift feels huge.
Yeah.
But I imagine for listeners hearing this, maybe for the first time actually putting that understanding into practice,
Yeah?
that must be hard given how stuck those labels like troubled can get.
Oh, it's definitely challenging. No
Yeah.
question. Because, these biases, these first impressions, they run deep. They're hard to shake off.
Right.
But the sources, they really stress this point. That initial difficulty, that mental effort to shift perspective, it's completely outweighed by the potential benefits. Once you see the reason behind the behavior.
The actual underlying reason.
Exactly. Then the path towards providing the right kind of help, the effective support, becomes so much clearer. So yeah, it's a hurdle, but the sources argue it's one we absolutely have to get over.
So pulling this all together from our deep dive today,
Mm-hmm.
we've journeyed from seeing someone like Jude as, well, simply troubled,
Mm-hmm.
to recognizing there's this underlying neurobiological condition, FASD.
Yeah,
And it makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? What Jude needs isn't more punishment.
not at all.
It's what the sources are calling for. Early intervention, family support, and community understanding. Things that actually help.
And that really broadens the lens, doesn't it? It connects Jude's individual story to these bigger societal questions. The sources basically issue this call to action. Let's stop blaming and start supporting.
Stop blaming, start supporting.
Yeah. And when we discuss things like neurodiversity or how we approach youth justice, understanding conditions like FASD becomes, well, essential. It's not just a side issue. It feeds right into why people advocate using terms like hashtag fetal alcohol spectrum disorder or push for hashtag support not stigma.
Right, and hashtag neurodiversity itself, and looking at hashtag youth justice through this different lens.
Exactly. It's about informed approaches, not just reactions.
So the core takeaway here seems almost simple, but profound in its effect. Just knowing the truth, understanding what's really going on behind someone's struggles,
Mm-hmm.
it can completely change how we respond, moving away from being